Hello, my dear squids. How is it going? It is, of course, your boy, your adoptive father, your calamarian chief, Shammy Cube, Yammy Noob. Last week, we had a bit of fun teasing some beginners in the top 7 beginner riders you'll meet video, and today we're flipping the script and we're going to take a look at 7 expert riders you're going to meet. Sometimes an expert really is an expert, and other times, one who just wants to be perceived as an expert is actually just old with deep pockets. We got a lot to talk about today, so let's just get right into it. The first expert rider you're going to meet is the long-distance rider. This guy will ride either a Honda Goldwing or a BMW K1600, no exception. He has hundreds of thousands of miles under his belt and at least 2 failed marriages. I mean, it's got to be pretty hard to establish trust through honest communication when you're on the other side of the country every other weekend, racking up miles like you're a long-haul truck driver with a stimulant dependency. It makes you think, what is this old man running from? His thirst for the open road comes to the fact that if he stays in one spot too long, the war flashbacks start coming back. He can't commit to attending his kid's college graduation, yet he'll commit to going through 2 sets of tires each year. He has a volunteer for the Iron Butt Association where he audits the receipts of submissions to ensure there are no fraudulent activities. The Iron Butt Association takes stolen valor very seriously. His skill level is quite limited because although he rides 30,000 miles a year, most of it consists of cruising at the legally indicated speed limit on the highway. He wears a half helmet with goggles so he can drink easily from his big gulp filled with Diet Pepsi that he keeps in his motorcycle cup holder. You can hear Jimmy Buffett's greatest hits blaring from his sound system as you pass him as he rides in the furthest right lane of the freeway. He rides in a leather bomber jacket, white New Balance sneakers, and Costco jeans. He's been riding for longer than you've been alive. Up next, we have the small displacement dual sport Savant. This rider is truly the motorcycling Sigma male. Horsepower? Under 30. The age of his girlfriends? Under 30. He's ridden on everything from sport bikes to cruisers, and after years of riding has concluded that the optimal way to enjoy life on 2 wheels is on a low-cost, low-impact dual sport. He'll ride some nearly 20-year-old bike like a WR250R or a DR650. He is so economically minded that he retired at 40 and can now be seen riding around in the middle of the afternoon with seemingly nowhere to be. He can replace the top end of an engine in just a couple of hours, but he's quick to remind you that he'll never have to, since Japanese bikes run forever. While he now gravitates towards practicality and ease of use, his skills have been finely honed after years of riding. He can practically track stand his bike at a complete standstill for the entire duration of a traffic light. He leaves his bike parked in the rain because it ain't gonna hurt nothing. And he hasn't had motorcycling insurance since George Bush Sr. was president. His only form of social media are the dual sport forums where he discusses tires and oil and swaps spare parts with other dual sport geezers. You'll find his oldest posts date all the way back to 2003. He goes moto camping with nothing but a single tarp and a book of matches. He can patch a tube in the woods using only leaves and tree sap. He thinks rider aids are an immune disorder. He lives his life 2 gallons of fuel at a time. A not-so-distant cousin of the dual sport Savant is the Scooter Bro. Once a class-leading expert-level racer, the Scooter Bro cares very little what other riders think of him. After living his club racing career at 10/10ths for years and years, he now enjoys riding at just 2/10ths. The tires on his Suzuki Bergman are dry, rotted, but he's gotten pretty comfortable at just sending it anyway. What's the worst that can happen? The amount of times he's crashed on track at serious speed now allows him to ride a scooter with reckless abandon. It's not uncommon to see him riding in shorts and sandals in the summertime. He shows up to bike night and regales the crowd with stories of triumph and defeat on the racing circuit. When he first approaches a couple Ducatistas with matching Panigales, they assume he is a homeless person about to ask for spare change, until he starts talking about Fabio Taglioni, his development of the desmodromic valve system, and the lasting impact it had on Ducati's legacy. Then he'll say, "Enjoy your monthly payments," while he hops back on his scoot and rides one-handed while eating a sandwich. The Scooter Bro is a god among men. He can masterfully dial in your suspension settings just by looking at you. Beyond his crusty appearance lies a highly honed set of motorcycle skills held by only the upper echelons of racing greats and zip tie. Yet he has laid down his sword. He no longer wishes to battle for righteousness, but instead live as a peasant, a wolf in sheep's clothing. Then there is, of course, the Suzuki GSX-R Lifer. The GSX-R Lifer still thinks it's 2002, and as a result, can be viewed as a bit of a human time capsule. He's got the Jinko jeans, the Limp Bizkit t-shirt, and the No Fear tattoo. He has been a Jigsaw squid for so long without permanent consequence that through the lens of Darwinism, he is an evolutionary marvel. His mutant genes have become advantageous in the wild. His fearlessness and disregard for personal safety has put him in literal life or death situations. And since he always manages to walk away, he has become an expert rider the hard way. He's had the same GSX-R 750 for the last 15 years since his cousin Ronnie, who rode a leader bike, said it'd be a good starter motorcycle. Ronnie passed away during a time attack session in the canyons, so the GSX-R Lifer has his initials embroidered on the back of his GSX-R key tag. His bike always looks like it's in mint condition, but that's only because he has to replace the plastics at least once a year. He hates parallel twin engines and blows up the comment section in any video about a GSX-8R or an R7. He can be seen at one of three places: the Planet Fitness, where he never does leg day, the pizza place, where he's an assistant manager, or in the vaping section at bike night. He got his girlfriend pregnant in high school, they broke up, and she was on season 1 of Teen Mom. He brings it up a lot. He hasn't seen the kids since then, except for catching the occasional rerun since restraining orders don't apply to TV shows. All of his friends are about 15 years younger than him, indicative of the arrested development he finds himself in. He has a ton of stories about running from the cops. He would make great online squid content, but his Acer laptop has too many viruses to run Windows Movie Maker effectively. Now look, whether you're an expert rider, a beginner rider, or anywhere in between, you'll find something to enjoy in our online motorcycle community over at yammynoob.co. Members enjoy exclusive content that is just too edgy for YouTube. You'll get our super fun, no-holds-barred newsletter, access to our Discord server, and live streams with your very own Papa Yam. If you enjoyed these types of videos that are a fun and esoteric look at motorcycle culture, you'll absolutely love our members-only content. Plus, members get automatic entries to win our giveaway bikes. You stack them up and apply into giveaways as they come and go. It's a great way to get involved. I've given away over 51 motorcycles, totaling over $500,000. It's the coolest part about running the Yammy Noob YouTube channel. Members can now pool their entries so you save them up for later or apply them to the current giveaway. They're your entries. Use them when you need it. We've currently got a 2024 Suzuki GSX-8R that's up for grabs, but I'll tell you what, I've got a Ducati Hyper Motard 698 on the way for the next giveaway, baby. But for now, I'm having a ton of fun riding around and making content for all of you to enjoy. So if you like what we do and support the show, head over to yammynoob.co and see what it's all about. The next rider we have is the illusory ADV expert, quote unquote, who is really just a slave to Farkles. He thinks because he's 50 years old and able to afford super premium equipment, riders will just assume he is a serious adventure rider. He is essentially LARPing as a Dakar Rally participant as he takes the long way to the coffee shop. He maxed out his credit card trying to 100% the KTM Parts Power catalog. His bike has the Akrapovic exhaust and the color-matched hard luggage. He bought 2 licenses for the KTM Tech package just to be on the safe side. His bike is always immaculately clean. He posts highly staged photos to all the forums that look like they could be part of a KTM press launch. He makes incredibly hard to watch video content for YouTube so he can write off his purchases as business expenses. He spends all the videos talking about bikes, describing the finest bits of minutia in excruciating detail, then splices in a total of 30 seconds of POV footage of him riding down a gravel road. He doesn't look people in the eye when they talk to him. He wears a protective cup when he rides. He wears motocross boots when riding on pavement. He is initially believed to be knowledgeable based on his age and the amount of money he's invested into his bike and gear, but his riding skills are that of a novice. Motorcycling isn't his only expensive hobby. He also has thousands and thousands of dollars worth of music equipment that sits unused in his basement. He has vintage tube amps and boutique pedals, but never progressed beyond the most basic classic rock riffs. Yep, $5,500 Les Paul plugged in about $1,200 worth of pedals into a screamin' bitchin' tube amp just to play the same old butt rock, blues rock, pentatonic BS. He has a $6,000 DSLR camera that he uses to take a picture of a bird once a year. He's the older guy that just likes to buy stuff because he can. And his fully kitted out motorcycle, without the skills to match, is no different. If you've lived long enough riding motorcycles to devolve into a chopper guy, you must have to be some sort of expert. It requires a specific type of intellectual atrophy to find yourself wanting to pay 30 grand for a motorcycle with no suspension, no exhaust, and no front brake. This guy is an expert from the minute he squats down onto his hardtail chopper built by Second Cousins Customs. When you've got no lean angle, you have no reason to know how to corner. If you got no brakes, you can't master your braking. Throttle control? Who needs it? You're gonna need to get that throttle wide open if you expect to get the speed up to traffic faster than all the Accords and Corollas on the road. By riding a chopper, you've leveled the playing field. Beginner or expert, you've got a 1500cc air-cooled V-twin between your knees and a straight strip of asphalt. You're the king of the world, baby. If motorcycling is like playing chess, riding a chopper is flipping the board off the table and punching your opponent in the eye because you don't understand the rules. I mean, isn't that the lesson we all learned from Orange County choppers? Throw things and verbally abuse your family members to get your way? I kind of lost my train of thought there. Anyway, if you want to become an expert rider instantly, buy a chopper. Because when you're on a chopper, no skill is required. You just need to sign the paperwork, grow the mustache, and become ungovernable. The last expert you're gonna meet is the Canyon Assassin. This guy has never set foot on a racetrack, but has the mental fortitude to risk life and limb pushing his bike to the limits on public roads. He rides a BMW S1000RR or an Aprilia RSV4. He and his buddies set up a pop-up tent on the side of the road where their girlfriends watch while sitting on lawn chairs. He's the guy you see in full leathers at the gas station. He's the guy who trailers his bike to the twisty roads. He talks about crashing while street riding like it's an inevitable outcome. He has annoyingly good riding technique, but complete disregard for common sense. He rides with his bike set up with GP shift on street. He's been riding for most of his life and learned to drag knee before he could read at a 10th grade level. He posts videos online solely for the clout because none of his content could be monetized. He posts videos on Instagram like Aprilia RSV4 catless full system exhaust cold start brutal sound. He is the mortal enemy of tar snakes, sands, and clibbins. His family will petition to rename the Canyon Road after him when he reaches his untimely demise. It turns out airbag vests are ineffective if you high side and yeet yourself off a 150-foot cliff. Thanks for making it to the end of a video. This was a fun one. A little Yami Noob return to form. Are you an expert level rider or are you just incredibly lucky? Let me know down below. If you enjoy this type of content, you should definitely become a member at yaminoob.co. In our newsletter and in our Discord server, you're gonna find all sorts of funny, edgy motorcycle content that's just too spicy for YouTube. If this video made you chuckle, you'll have a hoot with the members only content you can access on yaminoob.co. And I'm also there on a Discord server just about every day. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Fact: Finland has more saunas than cars. I like that ratio. Goodbye.
Keep watching Yami Noob!